Well, Chef Cary, I want to thank you so much for coming to the Beatitudes Campus today to be our first session in our first Wednesday's educational series. And the demonstration was wonderful, and I just you're welcome, wanted to just ask you a couple follow-up questions about today's event and some of your thoughts and philosophies. So with your Conscious Cuisine, I know you revolutionized healthy cooking, so can you talk a little bit about how that, what that means and how you've actually integrated that into your cooking?
Yeah, Conscious Cuisine is my approach of making being more conscious or mindful of the foods that we eat. First is a conscious desire or to select foods that is not only taste great, but is also that's in season, but also provides great nutritional attributes. Foods that's naturally good for you. But people eat with their eyes, and so there's also a conscious approach to take a step back and spend a little bit of moment making the presentation great. It's not playing with the food and making it really, really fanciful, but making that making an artistic approach of balancing colors and textures and bringing all those things alive. And so Conscious Cuisine is slowing down, is enjoying things, and being more mindful of the foods that you're eating.
Okay. Also, could you share one of your favorite Conscious Cuisine dishes that could be made in any kitchen?
I think my favorite actually is a butternut squash soup and butternut squash risotto, both of which we've incorporated into our new food style for Morrison, which is Flavors 450, and it's a very, very, very simple. You just cut the squash in half, take the seeds out, and it's slow baking inside the oven, like 320 degrees, and in about 40 minutes it's soft, but the natural sugars of the squash comes out. You can just parade that with a little vegetable broth, and then if you have a nice butternut squash broth, season that with freshly grated nutmeg, and I tried again, that's a conscious approach that I'm going to grate the nutmeg nice and fresh. And then now we can use that into a soup. We can also use that as a sauce. You can also use that to make one of the risottos that we feature on Flavors 450. That's really one of my favorite items. It is a great item for a person who is dealing with a heart-healthy meal as well as diabetic.
Excellent. So what are some of the spices, vegetables, and herbs and things that you've mentioned in your demonstration that would be common in some of your Conscious Cuisine menu items? Really
everything. I mean, because it's all the foods that's in season. So we really want to highlight and romance all of the whole grains. Okay, and some of these are now called heirloom because we're not using them so often, and they're kind of like ancient. But we're bringing back farro, which is an ancient Italian wheat. We're using quinoa. We're using green rice and red rice from the Himalayas and things like that. That is foods that is vibrant and colored and textures, but is also really, really good for you. But then we follow the seasons of what nature provides for you. When asparagus season and mushrooms, we're really celebrating those different items. One of the things that and the hallmarks and the tenets of Conscious Cuisine is to reduce the amount of sodium. And so we make a conscious approach not only to reduce the excessive amount of fats and calories, but also to reduce the sodium content. And we're able to achieve that by using lots of fresh herbs. And some of my most favorite are the most common. Parsley, but I choose flat leaf parsley because it has more flavor than the curly parsley. And many people call that Italian parsley. Another herb is basil. I love basil. I love the aroma of it. It tastes great with, of course, tomatoes, but also with watermelon. Okay, oregano and chives. All of those four herbs are very easy to find in the grocery stores, but it's also very, very easy to grow. And so at home, whether you have a garden outside, you can have a nice little flower pot inside your kitchen growing these herbs, and that inspires you because the freshness and of these fresh things growing every day just really it's been proven true. It just makes you feel alive, and nothing's better than even to take a jar of tomato sauce and add fresh basil to it and a little brown garlic and olive oil. It just now becomes yours uniquely, and it just elevates the flavor 1,000 times.
Well, I think all the things that you're talking about would be easy things that some of our residents could do who are cooking and choosing to continue to do that. So those are some great tips. As far as today, what are your impressions of the Beatitudes Campus and your thoughts about being here and being our very first educational session?
I'm blown away. The residents, I think, I just love, absolutely. I think we bonded very well. I just came out with a tour with Mr. Collins, who showed me his garden. I look forward to coming back and working with him, not only in the garden, but also using the produce, and also working with Chef Jason and conducting cooking demonstrations, and also inviting our residents to work with us in these cooking demonstrations and sharing some of these family recipes that they've had for so long. But the thing that I was most impressed with was by the opportunity to speak with the residents after the cooking demonstration, speak with them personally, and them being very candid, telling me some of the things that, and the appreciation of the foods that they were getting right now, but also some things in which we can grow and improve upon. And the things I was most impressed with and feel so grateful about is that this is the way that they want to eat. They're looking for more healthful items. They weren't aware of, my talk about smoothies, that a couple gentlemen and women discussed that this is something they're going to put inside their diet more often, and they didn't think about it, and they shied away from it, not knowing that there's different cereals that's available. So I think the education that we should continue to do and provide for them is something that they want. Also, the types of foods that we are introducing and talking about is something that I think they appreciate, and they spoke about that. And I think that this particular group of residents are really on the cutting edge and forward, as in they're eager to enjoy the fruits of life rather than some of the normalities and the old standards, And so a resident just pulled me aside and just commented on the flatbread and how much she truly enjoyed it. But I think it's really important to bring that back, because one of the things, the tenets that my culinary teams focus on is recreating these taste memories. And I think we can do that, is really awakening their senses to say, wow, that tastes great, and it reminds me when. And I think that's a phenomenal opportunity and responsibility that we have.
Well, and food is such an important part of life, so those are all excellent things. We're honored to have you here today, and thank you so much for coming to the Beatitudes Campus for our very first Wednesdays.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.